and especially road access. So, so the issue of affordable housing is, believe it or not, this gets so complicated, but there's affordable housing, there's workforce housing, there's senior housing, there's middle income housing, and they're all defined differently, and it all gets very, very confusing. But the Huntingtown in Prince Frederick is about 36% of the housing in Prince Frederick is considered affordable or workforce or middle income housing. It's all full. All that housing that doesn't cost them as much is all full. And there's more being built. If I don't know if any of you have been on Old Fairground Road, there's some very nice townhomes being built, and there's some things going on. The question becomes for Huntingtown, what do you want in Huntingtown, and what can the road support? And I'm going to give this to Marcia Mudd.
I just wanted to dovetail on what you were talking about and what you were just responding to about the housing, and I wanted to particularly put in a pitch for the other end of the spectrum, older adults. Older adults in this county are growing by leaps and bounds, either in place or moving in because of younger adults bringing them because of parents that are aging elsewhere. So we have a very strong Office on Aging in this county, which it is great and wonderful, and so I don't need to speak on their behalf, but I do want to say that, you know, even myself as a resident of the Huntingtown area and living on a piece of property that may at some point get bigger than I want to take care of anymore, I don't necessarily want to move out of the Huntingtown area. And there's nothing here to move into right now, if I wanted to, at some point. So
that's the kind of issue that,
older adults,
that would need to be talked about.
For us to think about. Because how many of us here are already older adults this evening? That we want to be thinking about that. Baby boomers are not small. We're big.
The aging population is expanding very rapidly, and there's some very creative kinds of things going on to help with that, which again comes back to density. So if you look at the development at Shadyville Road and Route 4, that was once a trailer park, and I don't know what the name of it is now, but it's mostly seniors who live in those houses. They're on small lots, and they're easier to maintain. So you could do things like that, and you could I'm not saying that this is what we should do, and you could increase I'm trying to get away from that feedback, you could increase the density through the purchase of transferable development rights, which helps farmers to continue to farm, in order to build some units on smaller lots. Where you have either where you have a group septic system. The state has very intractable, very strict rules about building not on sewer now. And sewer is extremely expensive. There is a sewer plant at Marley Run, and but they're typically they just are tying Huntingtown High School to it, and they've expanded Marley Run. But they're typically only built to accommodate a certain amount of sewage. So we would need the experts from community planning and building to come in and work with us. Our role would be to ask them to do that, to ask the county to help us rework Huntingtown as a rural village. But exactly how that would look would require a lot of talking and some experts to lead that. You can see Wilson and I learned a lot as county commissioners, but we don't know it all. We're not zoning professionals.
So, one more comment, in terms of the,
I love the dialogue, by the way, so.
you mentioned 1993 in the Huntingtown plan. Since we updated zoning, there are certain things that we categorize as small town centers and large town centers. So one of the things we need to look at up front would be Huntingtown Town Center, what's allowed today based on the zoning, and then build through discussion of a vision of where you want it to go. But look at what you currently have and what it is, as you define whatever this rural village is. I'm sure the state will step in also from the planning department at the state and the priority funding areas